the divine is not separate from nature. The divine is the structure of light itself. For centuries, mystics pointed to a hidden structure in the center of the brain, a tiny crystalline gland shaped like an eye, buried deep beneath layers of tissue. They claimed it was the organ through which divine light entered the human being. Most dismissed this as spiritual metaphor, an artifact of pre-scientific imagination. But the transcript reveals something unsettling. The man who first identified this gland as the meeting point between God and humanity wasn't a priest or a mystic. It was René Descartes, the father of modern philosophy and a pioneer in optical science. Before he made his famous declaration, "I think, therefore I am," Descartes spent years studying light, its angles, its reflections, its behavior when passing through different materials. He discovered the fundamental law of reflection, measured the geometry of incidence and refraction, and laid the groundwork for the universal theory of illumination. This wasn't a man prone to mystical leaps. He believed only what he could prove through logic, experimentation, and mathematical precision. Yet he concluded unequivocally that the pineal gland is where the light of God interfaces with human consciousness. Why? Because the pineal isn't ordinary tissue. It contains crystal-like structures capable of interacting with electromagnetic fields. In other words, it behaves like a biological prism, a living filter capable of altering the polarization of incoming light. Exactly the mechanism needed for B to enter A, for messenger photons to align with human perception. Exactly the same process that occurred in the Austrian experiment when C shifted its angle to recreate A after death. The transcript emphasizes how remarkable this is. A scientist who revolutionized optics concluded that the divine intersects with humanity at the only structure in the brain that behaves like a light processing organ. Modern research confirms that the pineal gland responds to subtle electromagnetic changes, generates its own photons, and may even contain structures resembling retinal tissue. In other words, the ancients weren't speaking in riddles when they called it the third eye. They were describing its literal function. And when Descartes claimed this was the gateway to God, he wasn't speculating. He was extrapolating from optical physics, from the behavior of angles, from the way light moves through mediums, and from the realization that consciousness must